How's it going, everybody? My name is Infamous Isaac and I'm here with a video on Long Legs, a horror movie that came out back in May of this year. And this isn't usually something I talk about on the channel. Like, I don't watch horror movies, it's just not something I'm interested in. The only one I think I talked about was Five Nights at Freddy's, but you know, like, it's Five Nights at Freddy's, I was going to talk about it. But with this one, I just went out with some friends and they were like, yo, let's watch this movie. Apparently they heard it was really good, so I'm just like, hey, shoot, let's go watch a movie, it sounds fire. Because if the movie's bad, then it's like, oh, at least we had a fun time making fun of it. But if it's good, then we have something to talk about afterwards. So I was excited, and after having watched it like a day ago now and having some time to sit with it, I'm ready to talk about it. I'm not going to spoil it because the fun of this movie definitely is getting to dissect the plot and understanding like, alright, what's going on. But I do recommend watching it whether you like horror movies or whether you just want like a decent story, because this movie genuinely surprised me, I'm not going to lie. But without further ado, let's get into Long Legs. Nicolas Cage is in it. So with the perspective I'm taking on this movie, again, like, I don't like horror movies, they're just not for me, but I'll always give them a chance if like someone says it's good, if there's more substance to it than just, oh, I'm gonna jump scare you here, or oh, I'm gonna make you feel uncomfortable here. Like, end of the day, you're trying to tell a story, right? A good movie in general is just telling that story in a good way, no matter the genre. And with this movie, I feel like it told the story in a decent way. It wasn't great, it didn't change my whole worldview, but it definitely did tell the story in a good and interesting way. I felt like the plot twist more like, oh my goodness, this is revolutionary, but this is more like, that's a really cool plot twist. I mess with that. What I will say though is, as a fair warning for people going into this, there's a lot of Satanism in this movie, and it's not like, oh, it's promoting it. It's more like, just be aware of that, because it can get kind of crazy with the Satanism. And like, I didn't know this going into it, but I do want to warn people that like, there's a lot of it in this movie. On top of that too, this movie can get kind of graphic and just kind of uncomfortable with the way it presents its horror, but like, that's kind of the appeal of it in a sense, because this movie had a $10 million budget. It was cheap, but it definitely didn't feel like that with the way that it was shot. The cinematography was really good. The practical effects with like the blood and like the viscera is just disgusting. It looks so real, but like, obviously, like, you know, it's practical effects, like you can only get as real as it can, but it never took me out of it like, oh wow, that's just like meat and like color dye. The acting was really good too though. For the small cast of characters that were in it, I really enjoyed it. Nicolas Cage, that man was a dog in this movie. That man was kind of a dog. His voice acting chops were on full display. It was so fire. The main character too, her actor was pretty fire. Some of the side characters were pretty fire too. Like, it was a nice movie. Genuinely, it was a nice experience, except for like, again, Satanism. But I know some people can walk away from it and be like, shoot, I didn't like it that much, and I completely understand. Like, there's just some things in this movie that not everybody's going to like. Like, when I was talking to my friends about it, one of my friends said that it felt like the second half of the movie lacked substance compared to the first half, where it was like they were chasing a goal, and then the second half was more like when a plot twist were revealed, but it was definitely more like artsy in a way. But it definitely got its point across of like, alright, this is what's going on. While another one of my friends was like, it was a good experience, but I just couldn't do it with the Satanism. And I completely understand. Like, it got uncomfortable with it, so I get it. One thing I thought was super funny too, at least to me, other people, they won't care, but I just seeing the Bill Clinton pictures in the background were so funny. It shows the time period, of course, but it's also like, why is bro here? Why is the JPEG picture of Bill Clinton in the background? I thought the scenes were just, when it gripped you, it really gripped you. Like, when I locked in, I was locked in for a grip. It was so fire. Also, it might have been just because like I watched it with friends, so maybe it's just better to watch it with friends that would like this type of stuff, like to enhance the experience. But overall, I give this movie like a 7.5 to an 8 at its highest, but like 7.5 in general. But let me know down below if you watched this movie and if you enjoyed it, because this is definitely an interesting movie. It was a good experience in terms of horror that I haven't had in a while. Like, the last one I watched was like Descent with a couple of friends, and I really enjoyed that movie. I heard Hereditary was pretty good too, but you know, I usually watch horror movies with friends because, again, like, I'm not built for this. I'm not built for it. Thank y'all for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you had fun, and of course, let me know what you think about the movie down below. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.
Scissor, nigga. It's gotta be that walk.
Oh.